I finally found Origins Orko. Finally. Only took like the third reissue, but I got one. So, Orko. Orko is a bit of a character to me. When I was growing up, I detested Orko. I really did. I hated him. I remembered that I knew what he was, and I wasn't really a He-Man fan to begin with, and seeing him, and hearing him, and seeing the goofiness of it, and being at a stage in my life where like I didn't like things like 60s Batman because it's not serious, I don't like it because it's not serious. Like, I had to come out of that phase and realize that some things are serious and some things are fun and some things are goofy and some things were meant to be this way and some things we take very seriously and some things we don't. Batman 66 was never meant to be super serious. I never needed to take it that way to begin with. There was a cheekiness and cheesiness to it we're supposed to get into. That was one of the main points of the show. That's where the comedy beat was coming to. Kids could watch it and feel like it was super serious. Adults could watch it, enjoy what was going on, watch a couple fight scenes, but also get the cheekiness of what was going on here. It was a fantastic blend that has allowed it to stand the test of time moving forward. But every now and then we enter this stage in our lives where we're looking for something serious, right? And then other things are devalued because of that thing. I saw him and I detested him, and it made me hate that property in general. I was like, I can't stand He-Man. Kind of ironic that coming around and then later on actually giving it a try, watching Revelation, and then going from Revelation, going back and watching the original series, he grew on me substantially. To the point where he became one of my more preferred characters. I enjoy him. So, when I started collecting, and I knew that Origins had one, I wanted it. I attempted to get it, and he was overpriced. Sure, I've paid more for certain figures before, but at $50, $60 sometimes for Orko, at the time, I was like, it's not for me right now. These are $18 characters, some of them selling as low as $9 right now on Amazon. I'm just going to stick with that. And I just started buying the ones that I could get my hands on. Then I heard that there was a reissue. Specifically, they were going to Targets. Wave 2 had come back out. So I went to a Target. And as I was walking in, there was a guy in front of me. And he was walking. He was walking the exact same path that I was walking. I didn't really think anything about it. Seemed like an older guy. I figured he was going back towards that direction, but wasn't going exactly where I was going. Well, I was wrong. And because I didn't walk very fast, I just kind of wandered behind him. When we got towards the toy aisle, he took the left. I saw for sure he was definitely going towards the toys at this part, and I said, wonder if he's an older guy like me, a collector. Turns out, yes. He turned the corner, immediately saw this case of reissue Wave 2s, or was it, I think it was Wave 2s, grabbed this Orko, looked at it. I get over to the same shelf he's looking at, I grab a Scare Glow and start looking through the rack, and I see this Orko. And I'm like, crap. Because he's holding the only one there is. And he's looking at it. Then he's kind of looking at some other stuff. And like I said, I want to say this was like a Wave 2 release. I can't remember. I know there was like a couple of guys that came out. It was Orko was re-released. Scareglow was re-released. And I think Manny Faces and something else. I can't remember. But there was like a wave of different guys that were basically put back out. So maybe not Wave 2, because I think that's a mix of different waves, regardless of anything. They start putting these back in stores, and like I said, this is the only one I ever came across, is this story I'm telling right now. So he's sitting there and he's looking at it, and I can see he's debating. And I'm like, You don't want that. Just put it down. That's what I'm thinking. He looks at it finally. He looks over the rack. He realizes, same as me, this is the only one on the rack. He takes it. And I'm like, ah! Because that was it. I lost my chance. I said to myself, that's okay. Right now they're in restock. They're reissued. They're out here. If he found one, I'll find one. I didn't. I went to 3 different Targets over the course of the next 2 weeks looking. And then I checked periodically, week after week after week. For any reason that I was going out in that area, I would stop by one of the 2 Targets that I knew of. Never. I never seen him again. So I started looking again to buy him on secondary market. And his price was always just a little more than I wanted to pay. I don't want to pay $60-something for Orko. I just didn't want to do it. But I did want him. And I almost had it lined up to spend $54 one time. And then I saw that he would drop down to around the $40 range. And I was like, maybe I should bite the bullet. Then I started hearing they were going to do fan favorite releases. And so I waited again. I took a chance and said, okay, well, fan favorite releases, give it a chance. Wait it out. So I did. She-Ra came back up. I already had her, luckily. Triclops came back up. I got him. Orko came back up. And I paid his regular price to put him on my shelf. Awesome. Let's open him. And here he is. Orko. Simple enough. In fact, one of the simplest characters in terms of these toys that exist. He comes with a stand. It is really cool. There we go. We pop this into the stand right here. I don't believe this has any kind of... Nope, you just pop him in. There we go. That's simple enough. Then the bottom, there's nothing going on here. He has T-pose ability, which is fine. Let me clear that up real quick. Paint job is fine for what it's worth. His hands move a little bit here and there. I mean, they got fair movement, to be fair. And his head has a lot more movement than I was expecting, to be honest. And there he is. That's it. That's all he is, right there. It would be cool if he came with just a little bit more of something. He doesn't. This is it. This is the absolute, this is what he is. There's nothing else. Like, the review is literally, he can T-pose, he has decent movement for what he is, his hands can come off, his head moves really well, there he is. Now, this is something I've been talking about for a while. I don't dislike Origins at all. I mean, if I hated Origins, there's no way I would have procured as much stuff as I've got in Origins, and I still definitely wouldn't be interested in things like the cartoon wave and stuff like that. But I do. I like Origins a lot. That being said, my chosen field of collecting for Masters of the Universe is Masterverse, no contest. I mean, I'm getting into this line as an adult. I don't have a nostalgia factor here. I like him. I think he's cool. But, for what it's worth, I cannot deny for even an instant that the superior figure here, for me, was this. Like, when I look at these two, okay, I feel like I got more for the money that I paid out of this than I did for this. Now, I realize there's a nostalgia attached to this. This is the original toy, brought into a modern-day articulation. A little bit better paint job than he had before. There you go. He's cool for what he is. And I don't take anything away from that. I do think he's really cool. But that When I saw that Orko, that I didn't hesitate at all. Like, I pulled the trigger as fast as I possibly could and got him because I didn't want a repeat of this, and I knew I wanted that. And the newer Orko that they did not way too long ago, the Orko the White, that is astonishingly cool. Like, that is astonishingly cool. I absolutely love that. My chosen line is most assuredly Masterverse, even though I don't hate for a second putting him on my shelf. I do want to say, however, that I kind of wish he came with something. Like, maybe I'm a little spoiled by the cartoon line at this point. Maybe I'm a little spoiled by the Origins line. Maybe I'm a little spoiled by just toys in general. He comes with nothing. Nothing. He's this. Is it bad? No. It's got the stand. He's a very basic figure. Like, no magic, no prop, no anything for his hands. Nothing. He comes with nothing. He is the absolute bare bones that you can get. He's Orko. That's fine. But it did catch my attention that that's all he was. He'll look good on the shelf with all the other masters over here. And for what it's worth, that's fine. That's what he is. I'll also say that this, if you're noticing, maybe that's just my stand, maybe that's normal. Definitely going to have to keep him balanced because for whatever reason, they decided that this would not be very tight. Those are the downsides to him, but like I said, he is definitely what he is, and I didn't expect him to be anything other than that. For that alone, I'm happy to add him to the shelf. That was Orko. I'm gonna get out of here.
I have spoken. Take what you will from it.